Hello guys, this is Deepika from MyTutorialrack.com. In this tutorial, we will talk about expression. Now, in the previous tutorial, you have already seen how we were using that expression. So, expression is nothing but it is written in these curly braces with the exclamation mark. So, let's say if you want to display the value of attribute, we used to say v.num1, v.num2. So, the expression allow you to make calculation and access the property values. Expression is always evaluated and dynamically replaced when the component is rendered. So whenever you have an expression, that expression will not be written on the screen. The value of that expression will be written on the screen. Now, what are the rules of using the expression? So the expression you can use in any component or in any application. Means you can use an expression in a .app file or a .cmp file. When you use an expression there, then you need to use a curly braces with an exclamation mark. But if you are using an expression inside of a JavaScript, basically the client-side controller or the .js file, you don't have to use this exclamation mark. You can just use it as a string. So in this example, you can say there is a variable called the label, and you're getting a component or an attribute whose name is label. So here you're not using an exclamation mark. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do a simple example to illustrate and use this expression. So let's say we are under this aura component. We are under the nested component that we were talking about. We'll just get rid of this whole thing, and we will be creating a expression. And so to start with, we're going to go ahead and we have an attribute aura, and we'll just declare an attribute. This attribute name is, let's say, edit is the name of the attribute, and the type of the attribute is boolean. So you can have whatever type you want, string, list, etc. And the default value of this is going to be true. So the default value means if you're not providing the attribute value, the default value is going to be true because it's a boolean type of an attribute. Now there is another attribute available, there's another tag available called if else. So if you know, if we have studied about if else, and let's say aura if the value of this is true. So if this particular, if you're ever checking, we are checking against is it true or false. So we are checking this value v.of_edit and then with the exclamation mark and this. So this is your aura if. So is true, we are checking the value of this attribute. So we are using an exclamation mark because it's his .cmp file. And then we are checking what is the value of this one. If the value of this particular expression comes out to be true, which is because the default is true, then what will it display? It will go ahead and display a button. So there is a UI component, we'll talk about those. And label is equals to, let's say, submit. This is the label of my particular thing. So if this is true, then this particular button will be showed. So let's go ahead and run this. So if you go ahead and run this particular application, you will see that this is the submit button. It gets shows. But because of why it is submit is shown, because the value of the expression came out to be true. Now if you go ahead and replace this with false, that button will go away because this expression will comes out to be false, and so that's why this button will not be shown on the screen. So if you go back and run this application again, that button does not exist anymore. So this is the if condition, that if it evaluates to be true, then that button will show up. If it does not, then the button will not show up. But if you want, let's say you wanted to specify specifically that if the else is there, then what should happen. So here you can go ahead and say aura there's a set attribute, and you set it to the else. So if this particular thing is false, then what should it do? So if this is false, display something like this. So what will happen here is, if this particular expression came out to be true, then this part of the code will run, and if this expression came out to be false, then this part of the code will run. Okay, so only one of the part is going to run depending upon what it is. This is the else part and this is the if part. So this is the else part and this is the if part. So if I go back here and run my application, since the value of the expression is, let me go ahead and save it. Okay, so this aura if has to be end here. So now if I go back, it will show, hi, this is Deepika. So this is the else part is going to get displayed here. So this particular, because the attribute is else, so this is going to get displayed. If this value is going to be true, then the button is going to get displayed. So here in this case, if I go back here and run this time, it's going to go ahead and display the submit button. Okay, so this is using an expression. So if I go back, let me give you a quick recap. Whenever you want to use an expression, this is how you use it, this one. And if you wanted to go ahead and get the value of this in a JS, then you're not going to specify an exclamation. You're just going to use v.edit. So that's what it is going to go ahead and display. So now here it does not, when you are running the program, it does not go ahead and display this exactly. What it does is it evaluates the value of this expression, and that's what it goes ahead and display. So this is about the expressions. So expressions are nothing but they are used with this syntax, and you can use this syntax with .app or .cmp. And expression allow you to make calculation and also to access the property values. So this is about the expression. In the next tutorial, we will talk about global value provider. Now what the global value provider? I'll see you in the next tutorial. Thank you guys.